Yo, what's good, YouTube? This is Jay from TNJ, and welcome to the offseason going into season number 3 here in the Miami Dolphins franchise. Now, last season, we lost in the AFC Championship to the eventual Super Bowl champions in the Bengals. They win their first ever title. Joe Burrow gets MVP. Christian McCaffrey gets MVP of the league as well as Offensive Player of the Year. And Zadarius Smith wins Defensive Player of the Year on the season. Now, looking at awards, TPH actually finished best running back in the AFC, along with Jalen Waddle winning best receiver. Andrew Van Ginkel finished second in best linebacker after he had a 12.5 sack season in the regular season, add 3 more sacks in the playoffs, so he actually finished with 15.5. Then in the NFC, Christian McCaffrey absolutely dominated. They went to the Super Bowl, and I'm hoping that after this patch that the progressive fatigue glitch is fixed so that, you know, these players can play against us. I hated it towards the end of the season. Like Derrick Henry couldn't even play the whole game. I turned progressive fatigue off anyway, but we'll see. So now we hop into the off season, and we have a lot of free agents actually, but how we're going to do this is we're going to build this team through the draft, through our young guys. So I will make sure I sign depth guys first and then go after the big guns in the draft. Now, Bishop Amaye was an excellent backup, and he came in the regular season at the end there and had a couple of big plays behind the line, and he also had 2 sacks in the playoffs. So I will sign him to a 3-year deal. All 4 of these guys I'm going through right now are all subscriber recruits, and that's just a coincidence, to be honest with you, because all these guys are depth guys that I need. Edward Ying is the backup quarterback right now. I'm going to be looking to add a veteran in the preseason. Bronco McMacklin is a depth halfback. I haven't had many injuries at running back. TPH has been pretty healthy. And then James Joyner, who actually did have a sack in the regular season, he gets signed to a 2-year extension as well to add the depth. Now let's talk about the veterans. Eric Rowe is interesting to me. You know, he is a very good player, don't get me wrong, but I'm looking for somebody to really jump off the screen at safety, and I gotta be honest, he's just normal. Like, he doesn't do anything spectacular for me. He had 2 interceptions in both years here, and I just don't see a need to bring him back and extend his contract because I feel like I can get that same production out of somebody else. James Washington was very, very disappointing to me. The thing about this is that you guys might say that I didn't give James Washington the opportunity, but I gave him the same opportunity as Andy Isabella. It's just that Isabella took off with it. Myles Gaskin, I'm going to let walk. He had 5 touchdowns in season number 1, but it took him a lot of carries to get to 5 touchdowns, and he only had 3.4 yards per carry when he was starting, and then in a backup role, he wasn't too good. Like, he was just okay. Christian Wilkins is the guy that I am disappointed in right now because he had 3.5 the first year, 2 the second year. I definitely started him, and I gave him so many opportunities, especially this season. He could not get it done. And it doesn't make sense to extend him because he's not really a guy that gives high production for us. So I'm going to let him walk. So we go into free agency, and we have a couple of holes, but I wouldn't say we have too many holes. You know, we've been developing guys through the draft, and young guys have been coming up. TPH, Tua has been developing a little bit more. Now we have Andy Isabella to develop. He's kind of still young. He's in his mid-20s. Then we have our defensive guys like Trayvon. I can't even think of his last name right now. But then we also have some guys, you know, on the defensive line that are very young. Raekwon Davis. We also have Darius Howard. And then we have Van Ginkel rushing off the edge. We'll definitely need another end to replace Christian Wilkins. And then we still have Jalen Phillips at end. I mean, we are actually in a very good spot here. So in free agency, I'm not going to really sign too many guys. J.K. Scott is going to be our first signing. How about that? A punter being your first signing. But you need a good punter. So we will continue to definitely be good on special teams. That's one thing that Madden really hasn't made any tweaks to. Like, it's pretty hard to return kicks in this game. Now, looking at running back, you know, we did have Myles Gaskin, but I want to sign a younger back and probably a cheaper back here in Justice Hill 25 years old. They might be the same age, actually, but out of Oklahoma State. Hasn't really gotten his opportunities with the Ravens, so I will give him a 2-year contract to just be a backup. Now, he's going to compete for the backup spot. I definitely plan on drafting a running back at some point. I don't know in what round, but I do need to add the depth. Like I said, that was the number one thing going into this season's free agency class, and Ted Karras is a nice little center, number 23 ranked center, actually, 72 overall, and for a depth guy, I will go after him on a cheap deal. Well, all three accept the contract, and I gotta be honest, like, that's it, because like I said, we don't have many holes. We let go of Eric Rowe at strong safety, but we'll see. Like, we have some young guys. We have Brandon Jones on our roster that could play strong safety. I had thought about moving Byron Jones over to free and moving Javon Holland over to strong. I don't know. But that's going to conclude it in free agency. Tyreek Hill signs with the Steelers. That's a pretty good signing for them. Levante David signs with Kansas City Chiefs. It looks like Montez Sweat goes to the 49ers. I mean, how about the 49ers? They just signed defensive linemen like crazy. Jamel Dean goes over to the Packers. Marquise Hollywood Brown goes to the Broncos. Kenyon Drake goes to the Lions. He's bounced around quite a bit. And just a lot of movement here. Bobby Wagner re-signs with the Seahawks. And it looks like KJ Wright is going to the Chargers. And then Christian Wilkins signs with the Steelers. So the Steelers are making moves. Now, I want to remind you guys that I will be restarting this series, not the entire series, but I will be resuming it with the scouting update, because you have to have a fresh new start to get the scouting update in there. So a lot of those moves will not be true. Some of them will stay, but some of them will not be true. So going into the draft, I want to scout a couple of guys, and we had the draft preview episode last episode, but I found a couple of gems. Von Hendricks, he was a first-round talent and a fourth-round projection. I will definitely put him on our board. I want to unlock some other guys at the top of the first here. Carson Mullen, remember, we have the number 2 overall pick in this draft. We need to be smart here. Rohan Nowitzki, we unlock him. And look at his combine. First in 40, first in vert, broad jump first, and he is an early first-round talent. Now it's giving us a reason to think. I think now I add him to our list of guys we can get at number 2. It's going to be between him, Darnell Peoples, and also Sherwin Finney. Now let's go over our draft picks in this draft. And I said last episode, I really want to acquire more picks. So I'm going to try to do that. And we have 7 picks, 2 first rounders. We do skip the 4th round, but then we have a 5th, 6th, and a 7th. I'm looking to add some picks even in the middle rounds, because we scouted a bunch of guys who are very good in those middle rounds. So the number 1 overall pick will likely be Jakari Martz to protect Zach Wilson. This just makes too much sense. He is 6'6". He is the best player in the draft. By far, all the draft experts know it. And I would be absolutely shocked if they go another direction, because they need to protect Zach Wilson. Gannon Peterson, I'm projecting to go number 2 because he is a quarterback. And also, he's an early first-round talent. He is excellent. He's athletic. He's strong, too. I mean, he's got the big frame, prototypical quarterback. He's going to be a very good quarterback in this league. Tyrus Waters could go up there. I don't see Levy, the number 2 overall prospect, going at number 2, actually. Darnell Peoples could, though. Look at his combine. He was 3rd in the 40, and he was 1st in everything else. So here we go. With the number 1 overall pick, the New York Jets select Jakari Martz. Okay. Everything is going according to plan so far after 1 pick. And now here we go at the number 2 overall selection. But I want to take a look at trade offers. Every team is lining up to trade up to number 2, including Chicago. Cincinnati has 2 first-round picks they're offering us. That is very, very interesting, but their first-round pick this year is at 32. No way I'm trading that far down. Buffalo actually offers us their pick, which is only 1 more pick back and giving us 2 more picks, but that's for next season. Now, I am interested in trading down because I know that I have 3 guys I am happy to select at this pick, and they're all available, obviously. So I would trade down to somewhere between 5 and 10. So I'm hoping that one of these teams can come through, like the Broncos. This is a pretty good trade offer right here. Round 1, pick 7, a round 3, and a 4th round. Now, I want to try to get a first and a second round. I'm not interested in a first round next year because I'm really interested in this draft itself. I think this draft is very, very deep. Houston has the 5th pick, and they offer me some 2024 picks. I'm not interested in that. Minnesota has the 16th pick. I'm not going to trade that far down. So I go back to the Texans, and they have the 5th pick. They also have the 37th pick in this draft, and then they have a first round next year. I'm going to try to negotiate with them to see if they will trade us. I said I wasn't interested in a first round pick next year, but if I can get a second pick this year, second round pick this year, I would definitely take it. But it looks like they are not interested in doing that deal. I try to add in a 4th round to just make it a little more sweeter, and it looks like they just will not budge. It looks like if you could improve the offer, they would accept it, but I'm not willing to give up a lot. I'm the one giving up the value. I go to the Browns and pretty much offer them the same deal, and they kind of give the same response. I wonder if, the trade logic is the same for every team. Some of these teams are not willing to do these trades because they're all kind of wired the same. So I go back to Atlanta. It just makes so much sense to get this trade. It's a first and a second. In real life, that would probably be like 3 firsts to trade up for number 2 overall, or even 2 firsts. And they decide to select Cannon Peterson out of Louisville, the quarterback. And I thought I wanted to just do a realistic trade. The Browns already had a quarterback in Baker Mayfield. The Falcons were looking for one last year. Remember, with Justin Fields, they did not select him. They selected Kyle Pitts in real life, but they stuck with Matt Ryan. So I thought it makes a ton of sense to trade them that pick. Luke Levy does go number 3 overall to the Bills. So they add a Heisman Trophy finalist. And then the Browns select a quarterback. I mean, they got to fix the draft logic here. And like I said, some of these picks will not stick in the new series. I will go over where these guys really go. But for the sake of this, we will just run through these picks. Tyrus Waters goes number 5 overall to the Texans. He is a very good left end. The second quarterback comes off the board. It's the third quarterback, Jasper Gonzalez out of NC State. He is more of a pocket passer, but very, very good. Tyler Richardson out of Auburn, left outside linebacker. He is an edge rusher as well. He is very good. And here we are on the clock. Now, I got to admit, all 3 guys that we wanted to draft are still on the board. Darnell Peoples and also Sherwin Finney. They're both still here at number 8. I am thinking about trading down, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to select right here and see who we can come up with. And then there's also Rohan Nowitzki. All 3 of our guys are still here. And I'm having a hard time deciding. But I eventually go with the guy that had the draft story. And that is going to be Sherwin Finney. He is excellent. He is an excellent pass rusher. I want to add somebody opposite of Andrew Van Ginkel, and he ends up being hidden dev traits. Number 8 in true value, we picked him at number 8. Oh, he has excellent speed too for an edge rusher. Excellent power moves at 81, 78 finesse moves. It's something that we can definitely develop, and he's hidden dev trait. Who knows? Since he had a draft story, that could be a superstar trait. Who knows? This is a good pick right here. And we have another first round pick. Just remember that. Lamar Neal goes number 9 overall to the Washington football team. The Lions do select Darnell Peoples, so he does not drop below pick 10, but he ends up being 80 overall. So he was actually very, very good. I think he was second in true value in this draft. Eric Hopkins out of Clemson, defensive tackle, goes to the Eagles. Lawson Anderson goes to the Raiders. And then Carson Mullen, the top right tackle, goes to the Lions as well. So the Lions pick up a right tackle in this draft. They picked up Kenyon Drake in free agency. And then they also draft Darnell Peoples. So a good draft for them. Larry Eisenberg goes to the Saints. Jamal Johnson goes to the Steelers. Damon Samali, I don't know how I said, Samaloy, goes to, I believe, was that the Washington football team. Rohan Nowitzki goes to the Ravens. The Ravens always draft those linebackers, and they get a good one there. Early first-round talent. We'll have to see how good he ends up being. What did the Patriots do with their pick? Coco Sanders out of Texas A&M, a middle linebacker, replacing I don't even know who they're replacing right there, because the Patriots have had a revolving door at linebacker. Nate Wilson, the safest quarterback in the draft, goes to the Vikings. He will compete with Kirk Cousins. The Tennessee Titans will select James Jackson Jr., and he looks like the best middle linebacker in this class. The Chiefs are selecting at pick number 27, and they will choose the first non-subscriber prospect in Bryce Lucas. Octavius Hart, another receiver, goes to Dallas. What are they doing there? And then Blake Gullickson goes before our pick at pick number 30. So it's time for us to select, and I want to see what other teams are offering for this pick. But look at the Bengals. They want to move up 2 spots and trade 3 picks. So they want to trade their 32nd pick in this draft, a 3rd round in this draft as well, and a 6th round next year. I mean, I'm running to them saying, here, take this pick, because I don't need to pick right now. I can pick 2 picks later. So we will move back and get 2 additional draft picks, and they select Lee Fairley out of Mississippi State, 68 overall right tackle, to hopefully protect Joe Burrow. But I'm not sure if that was a great pick right there, because the next pick was Joseph Crawford, 75 overall. They didn't need running back, but still, there was a lot of value still left on the board there. We'll let them do it. We'll take the extra draft picks. Well, we have a bunch of guys still on our draft board here in the first round that I evaluated as first round talents. Andrew Warmack was an excellent find here. He's an early first round talent, still on the board out of Miami. Earl Harper is also there as well. He's a first round talent. Darius Baskett is there, but he's a 3rd round projection, so I'm going to leave him on the board. Maybe I can get him a little later. Then there's Von Hendricks, who is a first round talent. I just discovered him, but I want to wait because he is a 4th round projection. He might be there in the 4th round. So with this pick, Andrew Warmack was a mid-2nd round projection. He'll probably be gone by our next pick. I want to add to that defensive line depth. We let Christian Wilkins go. So adding to Jalen Phillips and also Raekwon Davis and Darius Howard, welcome to the team, Andrew Warmack. He ends up being normal dev, but number 4 in true talent. So I am surprised at that, because he is a guy that probably should have been picked way before this. I'm interested to see how hard it is to draft in the scouting update. They're saying that it's a little bit hard. I mean, it's a lot harder to scout because you don't really know anything about a lot of players. So I'm interested to see like how the draft will go eventually with that scouting update. Now with our 2nd round pick, we have pick number 8, and I'm deciding between 2 guys, Luke Newman and a middle linebacker, because I do need linebacker depth. But Luke Newman is here, and he dropped to us. He's a late projected 2nd round, and I think by the time we pick, he will probably be gone. So we decide to draft Luke Newman, 73 overall, and he was number 30 in true talent. We drafted him at 40, so we are having an excellent draft so far. 276 overall guys and 173 overall guy. It looks like Newman is pretty good too, and I needed a safety, and we ended up getting him. Darius Baskett goes right before our next pick. I was definitely going to pick him there. So now at pick number 30 in the 2nd round, we will go with Von Hendricks. He is an excellent tight end. Why not just add to the depth? And we select another hidden dev player here in round number 3. How about this? Von Hendricks. This is crazy. Another hidden dev guy adding to that receiving core, that tight end group. I love it. And I think that he is going to be excellent on this squad. That was actually our 2nd round pick. I said 3rd, but our 2nd round pick. How about this? We have 2 hidden dev traits. 73 is our lowest overall so far. So here we go in this next round. We have pick number 30, and Marcus Livingston will be the pick, and he ends up being hidden dev. Oh my goodness, we are having an excellent draft. It's probably a star dev. Star dev is still hidden dev, but still, at least it's not normal. and we can develop him as a left tackle. He is drafted as a right. We can develop him as a left because Andrew Jackson is kind of struggling at left tackle. So we'll have to see how he turns out. I'm very happy about that pick. The next pick will be DeAnthony Townsend. He is a bigger receiver. He ran the 20th fastest 40-yard dash, but we draft him and he ends up being actually pretty good. At number 96, we get the number 54 talent. How about this draft? I mean, this is probably my best draft I've ever had on Madden in any of these Maddens. 90 speed, 85 catching. He is excellent. Now we're at the 5th round at pick number 30. And we have one more guy on our draft board left, and it's Trevor Lindsley, a 6th round projected running back, but a late 3rd round talent. And I need a scat back, 68 overall. He is normal dev, and he was probably our worst pick, but we still pick him about like 70 spots ahead of his talent, or behind his talent, and we get him. And I think that this guy's going to be good. 93 acceleration, change direction at 86. I wish that was a little bit higher, but a nice little scat back. In the next round, we decide to draft a fullback, and it's going to be Will Bennett. And we draft him at number 190. He's actually number 61 in true talent. We are absolutely crushing this draft, and I mean, we are absolutely killing it. Ethan Carter has been our fullback, but it's time to move on. I've seen too many runs where he misses blocks, so I decide to draft that fullback. Then with our last pick, Al Stapleton. This was obviously our worst pick. It was a 7th round pick. He probably has an outside shot of making the squad. So that will conclude the draft. But look at this draft. Sherwin Finney, starter. Andrew Armack, probably a starter. He will start opposite of Jalen Phillips. Luke Newman, he will probably start at strong safety at 73 overall. I'm excited to see what he can do. Von Hendricks, he's going to compete for that backup tight end role, but he has the athleticism. That's the difference. He's going to be a fun player to play with. And then Marcus Livingston, a nice little developmental right tackle who will play left tackle. And you've seen how many injuries we have on the offensive line. He could play this season. Townsend was excellent. I'm hoping that he can fill in for that James Washington role when he needs to come in 4 wide, 5 wide. He will be there. And then Lindsley is a nice little scat back. And then we drafted our starting fullback. So we have about like 4 or 5 starters in this draft, and they're all very good. Let's take a look at the number 1 overall pick in Jakari Marks. He was very, very good. 81 overall, number 14 left tackle out of the gate right now. And I'm going to keep that pick. So when I do resume this series with the scouting update, I will make sure he goes to the Jets. Cannon Peterson also goes to the Falcons. I will make sure he goes to them because it was a trade involving my team. So I will make sure he goes there. And then Darnell Peoples goes to the Lions, 80 overall. He is excellent right now. 79 man coverage. I thought it was going to be a little bit higher, but he has excellent speed at 95. So he is going to be very, very good. And he has hidden depth trait as well. Looking at some other picks, a lot of teams had good first rounds. And this was a deep draft. This was one of the better drafts I've seen Madden generate. Now, when I do create these guys, what I like to do is just rename them. I don't do anything else. I don't look at their ratings. I don't do anything like that. So I did not know that a lot of these guys were hidden dev trait that I was drafting. But Nowitzki ends up being very good too. And that will conclude the offseason. Now, going into this season, Terrence Pitt Howard led the NFL, actually tied with Christian McCaffrey with 20 rushing touchdowns. So he gets the superstar dev upgrade. So he goes up, upgrade superstar, a development trait every single season here so far in his first 2 years. And now he's at superstar. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. And his superstar ability will be bulldozer. So that will be a lot of fun to see on the field as well. So next time you see this series, I will recap restarting the series because I need to resume back in season 3. I have the draft classes already saved, so hopefully they go kind of according to what they did in this first iteration, but I will restart with the scouting update so we get that. So I want to make sure I have that in this series, and that will do it here as I'm looking forward to this season. I will go over the final roster next episode. I will do like a recap of where everybody went in the reboot, and then look at our full 53-man roster and our preseason guys as well. So hit subscribe, hit that like button. Hope you guys enjoyed the off season, and I look forward to season number 3. So stay tuned. Let's get it. Let's go.
I hope the rain don't come in November, 'cause the summer went way too fast. I'm trying real hard to remember all of the good times.